For the past 13 summers, the nation's best comics and rising stars have gathered on Nantucket. The Nantucket Comedy Festival is a highlight of the island's summer scene as it benefits the Standup and Learn Foundation for local youngsters and provides a series of hilarious evenings. And now, in these challenging times, in the spirit of the festival, we gather a group of comics to provide some laughs, some diversion, and a dose this evening of the best medicine.
As the
Nazi hunter. 5 seconds. Stand by. Stand by.
Your husband.
Stand by.
Yeah.
And so Thursday night, once again, where else would you rather be but right here on Nantucket or a reasonable facsimile? Welcome to the best medicine. And in the spirit of the Nantucket Comedy Festival, let's get us started for the evening and introduce where we're going to be for the next 30, 45 minutes or so. You've seen him on Letterman and The Tonight Show. He's a regular at the Comedy Cellar in New York City. Lenny Marcus. How you doing, Lenny?
Good. How are you guys?
All right. And you have seen her on Colbert and Letterman, America's Got Talent. A whole lot of love for Corey Kahaney. Hey, Corey, how you doing?
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Absolute thrill. And the real thrill is having the executive director of the Nantucket Comedy Festival, Dr. Anthony Fauci's personal lawn jockey, Kevin Flynn.
I didn't write that. You did. I like that, Bob.
I had to come up with something. You're
not in Nantucket. You're fake news, man. You're fake news.
Yeah, you got the map behind you right there. And we may actually have another guest parachuting in somewhere to give us some real news. I don't know. This is what I've lost count, Kevin. What is this? Episode 6, episode 7. Life in quarantine and life having, and we need some laughs. We're going to have some tonight. Lenny, what have you learned about living under a stay-at-home order, hiding under the covers?
Well, I miss people more than I thought. When I see everybody's face here, and I'm like, oh my God, it's great to see everybody. It's like we're in some kind of weird time warp. I don't know. I miss toilet paper on shelves. I miss not being with my wife every second of the friggin' day. It's just, I have 10 minutes? I couldn't be more confined yet not alone. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, I guess.
Like, don't do math problems. Don't do math problems with comedians, please.
Everybody would go to work in the morning. My wife would go to work. My daughter, 2-year-old, she's almost 2. She'll go to daycare. I'm alone. I can write. I can do whatever I want. I can shop. I got peace and quiet in the house. That's over. But somehow I'm never alone now. But then I can't see anybody else. So it's a weird thing.
So you're aware of the square footage of your home down to the last square.
Exactly. I know where everybody is at all times.
So, Corey, how goes it?
I concur with Lenny. I miss people a lot, and I've decided I'm not going to be choosy about any people. Like I'll take that woman who's I knew from when our kids were in preschool who wants to tell me about her divorce. If she wants to talk to me, I'll listen. I'll talk to Arabs who want to tell me why Israel shouldn't exist. I will talk to that person that stands and stares at you on the street while you parallel park for no reason. They have to watch the entire process. So just so that I can say, what the fuck is your problem?
Hey, and Corey's a great cook. Corey's a great cook, so she can cook. My wife's not a great cook. My wife's like, if I got to get quarantined, Corey's probably the person you want to get quarantined with.
Yeah, the cooking is bad. I've been cooking so much. Hey,
but you show us what you're cooking.
Is that Craig Murphy?
Man,
that's me. How are we doing, everybody?
Right. A former jock-turned-comedian that used to know what day of the week it was.
I think it's Thursday.
Yeah, he's got to go check his watch, just like me here. Welcome, Craig.
Good to be here. Hey, Bob, wait a minute. You're retired. Murphy's not. So, he has to be punctual. What happened, Murph?
I didn't get the link. And this is my first Zoom.
This is your first Zoom?
My first
Are you
Zoom.
the only American who's not Zoomed?
Oh, no, I'm not Zooming. I am the least technological person on the planet.
Well, Murphy, you just broke your cherry on Bob Lay's show.
Happy to have it for you guys.
It's usually Bob Lee, but I guess when you're popping your cherry, Bob Lay.
Yeah, I guess.
Appropriate.
There goes the E right next to the pot.
Okay.
Everybody,
It's nice.
everybody,
It's nice where Bob
calls
is.
him the general. The general. He's the General Lee.
So, Greg, what's been life in quarantine like for you? What have
A
you learned?
lot of eating.
Yeah.
A lot of no gym, a lot of eating. Drawing, playing video games. I learned how to play video games, which is good.
Do you have something up over the window behind you like the FBI sharpshooters cannot see in?
It's a scally cap and a jacket. I was gonna go with a bookshelf like everybody else, but I don't have any books.
You do realize there is a Twitter site called Rate the Room that has been doing
My
nothing
wife loves it.
during this, but rating anybody does a live shot on a scale of 10. They go 8 to 10, 9 of 10, whatever. So they will grab it.
You know
give you
who's
grade.
doing really well on that is John Heidelman on Morning Joe. His kitchen is pristine with the fruit basket and the whole thing.
He's got 2 Great Danes.
Yeah, I mean, he's got it. It's like he's posing. He does it. It's like, I did a shoot with John Shea yesterday, and he's like, "You need to lift your computer up. The camera's got to be down. Look to your right. Have the light. Put the makeup." I'm like, dude, I don't know any of this stuff. So
At least you're wearing pants, I hope.
I have no pants on.
Oh, good.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, we asked that of Tom Cotter and learned the hard way he wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
Cotter. Yeah, I told you, Lenny. I told you.
Yeah.
And he also had a blow-up doll behind him, which was interesting. And
It doesn't
everybody's like,
surprise me.
that's a blow-up doll. And then his wife walks by and goes, "That's a blow-up doll."
And not even a decorative piece either. That gets use.
He put his 2 books. He has books. He puts.
You know
Some
what I
of
told
which he's
Cotter?
actually read.
You know what I told Cotter the other day? Yesterday, Cotter does one of the best Trumps in the business, and he hasn't posted anything as Trump. And I told him, I've seen a couple of Trump people, people doing Trump, and they're okay. They're pretty good, but they're not great. Murph, you do some impressions. Is Trump one of them?
No, I don't touch that stuff.
Your Bob Kraft is your.
That was the original. I haven't done that in a while either. Actually, and then Terry Francona was my first.
You do Tito?
Yeah.
Francona.
Actually, he was on EEI today talking about me doing an impression of him.
I hear it.
Yeah, he was on with Ordway, Merloni, and Christian Fourier talking about he heard me do an impression on the radio, thought it was him, and doesn't remember saying what I said. So it was pretty funny to hear it. I wasn't even expecting it.
Oh, we got to hear some.
It's come a long way, and it's been a while since I've done it. So, and again, it's a developing process.
This is lost on Kahani.
He's coming. He's going to be.
This is a real regional thing, but we love it.
And he's picking it up.
He's going to be on the Jordan special.
Oh, yeah.
He's on the Jordan special, I think, next week.
Francona?
He is?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
'Cause He
He's
coached,
in episode 5?
He coached Jordan when he was with the Birmingham Barons.
That's right.
Oh, right. It's dead on, Corey, just so you know.
There it is. That's the reaction I'm
There
looking
it
for.
is.
A yawn.
We're keeping Corey up a little late now.
Corey's got
I'm
something
sorry.
to say about everything, but she bailed out on that
No,
one.
let's talk more about sports. I jump in anytime.
Bring your husband in. Ken would know.
He's right here. You want to? He's probably. Are you desperate to talk about sports? Come.
Hey, Ken.
Big scale here.
Ken, first,
I'm here.
first off,
staying
let me
low
say a
key,
couple
Kevin.
things. Ken and I went to the same college, the University of Massachusetts. So Ken is probably well versed in the Massachusetts sports school. What was it like? Where did you grow up, Ken?
I grew up out in Long Island.
In Long Island. What were you a fan? You a fan of the Mets?
I'm a Yankees fan, though. So
What is that, Bob? Bob, you're getting no love. You're a Mets fan, no?
What can I say?
So can I say
Bob.
what you did in a former life, Ken?
sure.
Ken was a Nazi hunter in
Oh,
a former life, which no one ever. I don't know where do you fill out an application for that job? I'm not quite sure.
We were
But
technical
very-
I
advice.
tell you, it got him a date with me.
my great uncle just got drafted. I think that's how he got in.
Got a date. Well, Corey, that's got to be a date closer. Like,
Oh, my
what do you do
God.
for a living? I hunt Nazis. Let's get married.
Al Pacino's part was based on my life. That's
Right. That whole what was that? What's that show we were just talking about?
Hunters.
Hunters. Right. Right.
Yeah.
I was talking about the. What's the other one, Bob? We were talking about the plot against.
The
America.
Plot Against America, which I highly recommend. Even if you've not read the book, it's worth watching. It gets better and better and better.
The movie Munich. Munich is
Can
a
I
great
just say
movie.
one annoying thing about Bob Lee? Whenever you mention something, he's always read the book. Have you ever met somebody like that? Like, I didn't even know there was a book about that. He's like, I read the book, and then one time I actually read a book that he read, and I'm like, oh yeah, I read that book, and we talked about it a little bit, and he's like, oh God, yeah, it was great. Did you read the follow-up? I'm like, follow up, man.
Oh man, that's funny. Hey Ken, have you checked the White House?
Oh, I know. Speaking of books, yeah.
everybody have
You can
fun.
find some Nazis.
You can go find Nazis. Yeah.
Happy hunting.
You never know where they are.
Listen, I think I like the sound of Justin Amash.
Oh, in what way?
Because he's going to get Biden elected if he runs.
Do you think so, Bob? Because
There's talk of it. There's talk of it. Yeah.
But will he pull Trump voters who would vote for?
He'll peel off what few moderate Republicans still exist on this planet. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
I have to say though, I don't have a problem with Justin Amash. He's the one Republican that walked away and said, "This is not my country."
Mitt Romney too. Mitt was the governor.
He didn't walk away. Justin Amash walked away.
Cat Stevens.
Yes, you're right.
What?
Didn't Cat Stevens leave?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. He did.
I don't think he ran for anything.
He left. He left with Reagan.
Yeah. And then Rodman left for a little while too.
Rodman left a long time ago.
Let me reel this back in here. Back to planet Earth.
Bob. My goodness.
Do you think
Benny and
Rodman
I are
is
at a
sitting
loss.
Shiva is Rodman sitting Shiva for Kim Jong-un?
He apparently he's doing very well. He's up and about. They have luxury yachts at this military installation in North Korea. It's just base canard that he's dead.
Really?
Oh.
Who threw out the canard? Who threw out the canard?
Well, it started with some South Korean intelligence. Boy, we have veered all over the map today. This is.
Say this, Bob, because Corey dropped the F-bomb. And
oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you
weren't the first. Trust us.
Jimmy Schubert was on last week. Oh my goodness.
Is he finished yet?
A comedy train wreck. Funny. He went off. But what I have to say is, Bob Lee worked for ESPN for years, outside the line, multi-Emmy award winner. So he's used to conducting interviews in a certain way. And then we come on and comics are like, we have no rules at all. No Emmys and no rules. I think they go hand in hand.
Oh.
And most of our careers are no longer going.
Careers.
Exactly.
Who's writing during this little interregnum? Anybody working up some material off this experience?
I mean, I'm trying.
I think we've lost a lot of material. I think everyone's going over their books going, that won't work now. That won't work now. That won't work now.
Airline jokes are gone, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they're never gone. Just go to any comedy club whenever it comes back and there'll be airline jokes there. Just, I don't know. I've been writing. I've been trying to think of things to do outside of stand-up, hitting stand-up a little bit, but, funny's funny. I think funny will always sell. Think about how much content all of us are sort of absorbing right now. We're all talking about television shows and comedy shows and things that are on the air, and we're going to use up a lot of material very quickly. I mean, you talk about the Philip Roth book, The Plot Against America. Some people are like, yeah, I saw it yesterday. It's like 8 episodes. Yeah, yesterday.
Right.
So people are just like absorbing stuff like crazy.
Everybody's running out of shows.
I think guys
People
like
are running
Murphy
out of
and
shows. That's all I get is I'm running out of shows.
I think guys like Murphy and Marcus, Bob, who used to just 24/7 watch ESPN, are now probably looking for other things to do.
What did Jackie Flynn say 3 weeks ago? He binged to the end of Pornhub.
Yeah, that's how bad it got. Yeah.
And for Jackie, that's an accomplishment.
And that was so funny. I don't think that was Jackie's line. That's what I'm saying.
Definitely. Hey, Lenny, Kenny's birthday's tomorrow, and I never, ever go to a sporting event. You know that.
Right.
And
right.
I said, listen, I want to be a sport this year. You want to go to a hockey game? You want to go to a basketball game? Anything you want.
You're such a jerk.
You set him up.
That's me.
She's not in your demographic, Bob. She's not your demographic,
exactly.
Corey.
But Bob, I adore you. I adore you.
Oh, that's sweet. I feel the same way. It's good to have your insight here. Best binging experience you've had so far, though, as you've been hunkered down. What's it been?
Oh, God. Well, Ozark. I mean, season 3. It went off the rails in season 3, but it's sort of like you couldn't stop looking at it. And I'm torturing the whole house that I'm with Money Heist, which is it's a Spanish show from Spain, but the dubbing is let's put it this way, creative, and it's bad, but we're all the way in now.
Well, wait, though, Corey, let me ask you a question there, because Erin and I watched the first one. My girlfriend, the first one, Money Heist, and it was just so bizarre. The ending's almost the beginning, where it happens with the robbery. But does it get better? Because she's boycotted it.
No, but I really like it.
Yeah. I'm going to fly, man. There's no way I'm going to be able to pull that off. I can't watch anymore. And the other one was about the tiger thing. It was
Tiger King. That's the one I binged the hell out of that one.
I think that was a day and a half we watched that.
I did that in a night.
It took you just 30 seconds to get sucked into that sucker, though. I mean, the characters, the first episode, I'm there.
And my favorite character is the guy that worked at Walmart that wanted to be a campaign advisor.
Yeah.
He's by far the best.
Well, he's the most grounded person in the whole 7 hours, which is really scary.
Lenny, did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it. It was fun. I'm fascinated by nobody cares that lady murdered her husband. Nobody.
Oh, they care. The person that I'm fascinated with is her.
Who cares?
Is her new husband, because he's the only Jew.
Oh yeah, That's possible.
Corey with the Jew stuff. It always comes back to the Jew stuff.
Did you see the meme on the internet where people have put pictures or printed a sign on their door for the Amazon guy as you come up? Did Carol Baskin kill her husband? And there's a yes or a no, and you put the packages under the appropriate answer.
I love that.
That's
great. That's great.
Yeah.
Only Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, a tiger ate him, right? She fed him to a tiger, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's the working theory. Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
I'm just...
No way, baby.
There was some jaw-dropping. How about the 3-way wedding with 2 guys that probably weren't gay?
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Spoiler alert. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you didn't see it?
I got it.
There was just too much referencing going on the internet that I had to watch it.
Everything you could imagine that you never need to see is in that. So we didn't ruin it.
It's bizarre.
Erin bailed.
I got one for you. Have you seen McMillions?
Yes, it's tremendous.
Yep.
The story, it's the story of the plot to cheat McDonald's back in the 90s out of the many millions of dollars of the prize.
So first,
the Monopoly prize. It's brilliant.
You guys,
it's amazing.
I want to watch that.
Yeah, it's very good.
Just see an example of Bob Lee having seen Lenny's show and commenting on it. I mean, it's annoying. It really gets very annoying.
I love it.
Bob read the book McMillions before the thing came out.
You read the book?
Bob did. Bob read the book McMillions.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. He cross-referenced it. He highlighted it in yellow, just in case it ever came up in an interview.
I just love the fact that Jennifer's crime family is knee-deep in it, being from Jersey.
Are they really?
Bob, did you see the follow-up one? It's about Burger King.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
It was really a queen that really started it all.
The Burger King kidnapped Wendy.
Wendy, that was their child. It was fantastic.
It was the child.
So it goes back to Wendy.
What was the last time you've eaten Burger King? Seriously.
Me?
Anybody.
I'll say this. It's been a long time, but
think about it.
I was in Africa. I was in South Africa, but this woman said, I'm going to Burger King. And I said, really? You're going to work for Burger King? He was a marketing person, and she worked for a cruise line and said she was going to work for Burger King. I touched base with them recently, She has been balls out working. And I said to her husband, well, what's up? He goes, well, turns out Burger King, right when he came on, started to Beyond Meat Burger, or the what's the other one called? It's Beyond Meat, and then
Impossible Burger.
The Impossible Burger. So I'm not sure which one it is, but so many people went back to Burger King because of the Impossible Burger or the Beyond Meat that she has been working nonstop trying to make that happen. Now, my daughter, very socially, environmentally aware, said that if people eat vegetable-based burgers instead of real burgers, the world will be a much better place.
I won't be here for that world.
No.
Yeah, I'm with Greg.
No, I'm not in that world. I had McDonald's, if that counts. I had McDonald's like 2 weeks ago.
What did you have at McDonald's?
2 weeks.
Just the cheeseburger, fry, and chicken sandwich. I had to. It was
a drive-through, though, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I had a mask on and everything.
I had a Five Guys burger.
There you go.
Aren't they the best? They're the absolute best.
The French fries sort of trump the burger, though, because they're so crispy and they come in the bag with all the salt.
Exactly.
Will that word be still part of vernacular, common vernacular, once he's gone?
What's that?
What word?
Where Corey just used it as an adjective.
Oh my God, you're right. I did. No, Trump. I said the fries trump the burger.
Oh.
All right. And by the way, I just got a text. People said it's the Impossible Burger. So there's more than one person watching this.
Impossible Whopper.
The text came from within your house.
That's what they used to call me in high school. Bob Lee with the best comedic line of the night. How about that?
If I were you, I'd be worried. Well, last time I walked into a McDonald's, they had obviously before all of this problem, they had a little kiosk. Have anyone experienced that? You can walk in there and then go to the kiosk and put your order in and they give you a number. You don't even have to dialogue with the rocket scientists who are running the place.
So it's on you if you screw up your own order.
Exactly.
You're only yourself to blame.
Well, we just take our cues from Washington. I'm not taking any responsibility.
Bob Lee, multi-Emmy Award winner for Outside the Line, walks into McDonald's. I would think that they were afraid they were going to get interviewed.
First time I had been in one in like 18
burger?
months. Exactly.
What's it? You're like the Mike Wallace of the burger of McDonald's. And that's Brand Point behind you. So you're on Nantucket.
Exactly.
There it is.
I was actually, speaking of your Bob Kraft impression, Greg, I was seated in the shadow of that lighthouse on Nantucket last summer. I swear to God, I put down the book. We're sitting there reading, look up, and who's going by in his boat, like maybe 70 feet away, coming through the channel, but Bill Belichick.
Oh, yeah.
His fishing boat, the eight rings coming in from a day out at sea. And
he's got a favorite, what's his favorite sandwich shop right there at the dock? Right there when you come in. There's a big sandwich shop he loves. Yes. Scott Zolak was talking that up all week.
Yeah.
Turkey Terrific is the big sandwich. It's I think Portuguese bread, which is native to Nantucket, or not native to Nantucket. It's native to the Portuguese, perhaps, but they brought it there. Portuguese bread, some stuffing, like Thanksgiving stuffing, turkey, cranberry sauce. Oh, it's the best. Absolute the best. He walks around. I mean, my brother-in-law, Bill Schultz, who lives out in Nantucket in the summertime, 6 a.m, he'd be driving, because he's up early. He'd see Bill Belichick walking with a cut-off sweatshirt and a fishing pole. Walking down. And he's 6'5", my brother-in-law. He's 6'5", and he's a big boy. He played college football, and he was at the gym, and Belichick walks over to him and goes, "Can you still play? I need some people." Bill's like, "No, I can't. Not at that level. Give me a break." He's never said anything to me. I don't know why. But
you see, during the draft, they had, this great humanizing moment of the National Football League draft. All these coaches were home with their kids, their family. And by the way, for the first time in their professional life, realizing they can have a normal life at home and you don't have to sleep in the office around the NFL draft. Belichick was alone in his home. I don't know whether it was, his home on the mainland or out on the island.
But he's on Nantucket, I think, Bob.
It might have been. Well, there's a Nantucket map in the hallway you could see. And the only other creature there was his dog.
Nike. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he's home, he lives down the street. I'm in Situate, Mass. He lives in Hingham.
Yeah.
And he has his own little liquor store and everything.
Do you do an impression of him, Murph? No,
Not really. Not good enough for the Zoom.
How about Kraft? Because Kraft is always out in Nantucket for the Zoom. Oh my God, for the Zoom! It is his
I'll put it
first
on the
time
Facebook if
Zoom.
you want.
On to
Facebook.
Cincinnati.
I was doing the tweeting.
Is Kraft a Nantucket guy?
Yeah, he comes out for the Pops every year. I've met his sons and stuff. He's around.
I think has already been canceled this year, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like many other things.
Really? Oh,
And they canceled the Little League World Series too.
First time ever since they started at like in 47. Yeah.
Corey, you still with us?
Yes.
There's
Corey,
been a
have you
Rudolph
met
Hess
Murph?
sighting.
Corey, had you met Murph before? Because you've been in a bunch of festivals. Murph.
He looks super familiar to me.
Oh, that's an Irish
I-
face.
I think we've crossed paths.
No, I think we've talked. Yeah, for sure.
Lenny's the only one who's
What
not
is the
been.
status of Nantucket Festival for comedy?
I haven't canceled it officially, but it doesn't seem like it's going to go off as it normally does at the Dreamland Theater because no one wants to be inside a theater, in the summer. And the good folks at the Dreamland, Joe Hale, he's trying to come up with alternatives. He's thinking about maybe doing a drive-in theater at on the island, out of Bartlett Farm. So
Can you have everybody on separate yachts?
We're not all in yachts, Lenny. You got to come out. You'll see. The people are awesome. Hanley, God rest his soul, as the Catholics say. God bless him. He always used to try and get Lenny out. It didn't happen. But once you come out once, Lenny, you see the light. And then, Corey, how many times have you been out?
All right.
I think 4 or 5.
Right. Murphy, you've come out once.
Once. It was that show. It was that show that that lasted like 4 hours.
Was that the Joe Scarborough?
Yes.
The one at the
Do 12
VFW
minutes.
hall. Yeah.
Do 12 minutes, 2.5 hours later.
I'll quickly tell that story, but so I've got it all scheduled out, right? So I'm going to go up and I'm going to do some time to get the audience warmed up because the comics make me do that, right? So I'm like, okay, I take the beach, and then I'm supposed to bring up Joe. I think I bring up Dick Cavett.
Dick sat on ice for a while. He was a little upset. They made him
so
wait.
I brought up Joe. So in the schedule, it was Joe and Mika for 7 minutes. Joe and Mika went on for 48, 50 minutes, and all the young comics are in the back going, who are they? I don't even know who they are.
Kevin, you had brain matter coming out of your ears as I was standing next to you. Plus, everybody had 9 o'clock reservations back in town. This is out at the American Legion Hall. Holy shit, it's falling apart.
Bob Lee just said shit. I can't believe it. So we've got. So then I had to bring up Dick Cavett, who, by the way, Dick Cavett, I had to fly him out there from the Montauk. On a plane, when I got the invoice, it said Cavett's, Dick. So I'm like, wow, he's so famous. His dick has his own plane.
Carry on. Couldn't even carry it on.
I fly Cavett's dick out, and then I fly Dick Cavett out. So I do a little time because I think I need to. Then all of a sudden we bring up Joe and Mika. They do an hour, cut an album. Then I bring up Dick Cavett. Bob's waiting in the wings. Bob comes up. When Bob starts the show, we're already an hour and 10 minutes over, right? Everybody, comics are like, they don't care. They're drinking free booze. They're fine. But the people who had dinner reservations were a little annoyed. So
then Vic went up, and I think his set is just about ending.
Bob, I'll take it from here.
You got 7 to 10 minutes.
Very funny.
My Lord.
Comics will know this. Vic was doing fine. Vic was doing all right. He's hanging in there. But he wasn't killing, and he tried to close. And when he closed, a door slammed or something happened, and an audience was distracted. So his close didn't work. So he's trying to think of another close. So he goes over. Vic doesn't go over. We all know this because Vic he used to run comedy shows like tight as a button. Like say to the young guys, 7 minutes. How does 7 minutes turn into 11 minutes? 7 minutes is not 11 minutes. 11 minutes is 11 minutes. 7 minutes is 7 minutes. You did 11 minutes. So Henley going over by double. I'm howling because I know he's struggling. He's trying to figure out a way to get off. So for the rest of the weekend, all the comics were just all over him. And Bob Lee's watching this like, wow, are you guys being nice or being mean? I go, it's the same thing, Bob. You're comedian, it's the same thing. And then Murphy, I think you got drunk that weekend. on the boat.
No, it must have been a weekend that ended in Y.
Typical Murphy, Flynn, Donovan.
You put us in that house, and we had a good time. You don't still do the house, do you?
No. We have hotels, the White Elephant, the Beachside. We have lots of accommodations, and that's Corey's name.
You know, the one thing I've learned from being out there and working with you on the SmackDown on Saturday nights, a couple other things over the years, especially at the Dreamland, when you get the green room right off the stage and all the comics are back there and they're wandering out and checking out what's happening and whether they've been on yet or not, and you wouldn't necessarily see it in my former line of work, is the mutual support system. That the guys and the gals in the wing really rooting for who's ever out there and like critiquing but in a positive sense and picking them up and a really good vibe in the green room that in a competitive business and under other circumstances I don't think you'd see. But it told me a lot about the nature of what you guys do for a living.
That's a testament to Kevin, though. He somehow picks everybody that's friends. I have to be honest with you. It's not always that warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why the festival's always great, because there's never anybody that's, I have to say it, a Dick Cavett. You know what I mean?
With his own plane.
Yeah. My favorite.
Dick was great.
What?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Dick. No. Dick is great.
Dick is great. He's not a comedian, but he was really fantastic. I loved him. In fact, I said, it's almost like with you, Bob. I said, I was on stage and I said, oh my God, Dick Cavett. Just talking to him backstage, no matter who you bring up, he's got a story. I'm like, I go, pick a name. And I go, William Holden, and all of a sudden Dick Cavett's got a story. And he stands up in the middle of the crowd and he goes, I have a story about Dick Holden. I mean, William Holden. I'm like,
Bill Holden.
A story about William Holden. And he grabbed the mic. He did a 30-second bit on William Holden, handed me the mic back. I'm like, the guy is such a pro. But I think, Corey, what you're talking about is, it was really Vic, I think. Vic is in the clubs a lot more than I am. Everybody loves Vic. If you don't like Vic, I don't like you, is what I used to say. And he would very much curate who would come out, because you don't want a diva out there. You want somebody to come out and say, like, look, everybody thinks Nantucket is a certain way, but you come out here and the people are really happy and friendly. They're happy to see you as comedians. They engage. You're at a great hotel. Great hotels. You walk downtown. We have great dinners together, and you got to have cool people there. And I've only been burned once or twice, but pretty much every year we have great people out there. That's why Lenny's never been.
Here's my embarrassing Dick Cavett story from that weekend. I'm younger than most of you guys, so I didn't know. Yeah, no, I aged quickly. But there's Dick Cavett, and I go, I know that guy. I know that guy. And then it hit me. I go, you were in Forrest Gump, and it was old footage they used of Forrest Gump on the Dick Cavett show.
Oh my God, that's a young mistake.
That's how I knew him.
Oh my God,
guy's a national treasure.
Oh. Yeah, before my time.
That's okay. I was on another podcast yesterday, and I mentioned something about D-Day, and I suddenly realized I got a bunch of 20-somethings listening, so I had to stop in the middle of the story I was telling and explain what D-Day was.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I was in
Albany.
Yeah.
In Albany, I went to Albany, University of Albany, and like this is late 80s, and Mike Tyson was just about to become heavyweight champ of the world. So we went out to dinner one night. This is like a week before school starts, and I'm in this Kentucky Fried Chicken, and who walks in? Mike Tyson. So I get his autograph. We're all excited about it. It's a big story. I won't bore you. I go back to my place where I'm staying. We had a house off campus. My friend and I go back, but nobody's in yet. Nobody's there yet. And we saw one guy we knew, and we were so excited. We're like, "How are you? We saw Tyson. We saw Tyson." The guy goes, "The chicken guy."
Lenny, my daughter and her husband live up there. He actually teaches at your alma mater, and she sent me my daughter yesterday. I think it was 2 days ago. It was the 31st anniversary of the day that Tyson got a ticket for doing 71 on Washington Avenue.
There you go. Yeah, there was a lot of Tyson sightings. And when I met him years later, I told him this whole story about I met like 3 years ago. I met him again. at Sirius, and he signed something for me. It was great. I told him the whole story. I said, there was always a Tyson sighting, like you were getting lost on campus. And he's like, I wasn't getting lost. I knew exactly where I was going. And I was like, you were looking, the rumor was he went after every co-ed in the whole, he goes, I knew exactly what I was looking for. I was like, okay.
And it wasn't tutoring.
No.
Was his training facility up there with custom?
Yeah. Yep.
It was up in Albany.
This was where? I think I missed this.
Catskill.
Okay.
It was, no, I went to Albany, but this is the Albany campus, and Tyson was from Catskill.
They were talking about a safety school, Craig.
Yeah, those exist. I got into it and I went.
Corey, this is about boxing, just so you know.
You know, I know who Mike Tyson is because he was with that Robin
Givens.
Quivers.
I was going to say Quivers, but I knew it wasn't right.
It may have happened.
Hey, Bob,
Yeah.
I got to say, Craig Murphy, college goalkeeper, soccer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in
I didn't
another
know,
lifetime.
man. I knew he was a comedian, and then all of a sudden somebody says, you know Craig Murphy? I go, no. Like, there aren't many of us. And there was it, Murph. And he's a goalkeeper, so you know that he's not all there, which is
a lot of time to write in that goal.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Murph, hey, does those gloves really work, Murph? How padded are they?
Oh, they are life. It's a godsend, those things. Broken every finger except for, I think, this one.
Oh,
yeah.
That one.
Jeez.
How about, you know who was a goalkeeper? Albert Camus.
Camus
Really?
was a keeper.
Camus
So
was a keeper.
Pope
And you
John
know,
come on,
Paul
you-
II.
You read every book by him.
But Bob read every.
I read the last one. Yeah.
I think
Philosopher.
Bob's former colleague, Jack Edwards, was a goalkeeper at UNH.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Was it really? That's why he started doing. Some play-by-play, didn't he?
Yeah.
Do play-by-play for a while.
Yeah, he was the USA guy for a while.
Yeah. And he was also among the keepers, Pope John Paul II.
What? Oh,
Pope
Bush
John.
yeah.
Yeah.
The second. So Albert Camus said this. He said, "Goalkeeping prepared me for life because the ball was never where you expected it."
He was a bad goalkeeper.
Bad goalkeeper. You cut down the angles.
You gotta know where you are.
You know where it is. You wear those gloves and you cut down the angles. You play the math.
Oh, we lost Corey again.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Here you are.
You get
I
to
just-
yell
I
at your
had to
defenders a
urgent-
lot.
I had an urgent text.
Yeah, from Albert Camus.
Yeah, there was a
from
Rudolph
Albert
Hess sighting.
Camus. Yes.
Exactly.
Well, what else is on tap? I mean, how long do you think this is going to last?
You talking about the show?
Podcast or
You know what? Whatever you want to say first, the podcast or the pandemic.
Must have been a real urgent text.
I got to say this.
It was a doctor.
This has been annoying me. This has been I was on my podcast this morning called Over the Ball. 2 listeners. But I would say what's annoying me right now is the argument about whether the coronavirus is going to spike in September. Where what annoys me about that is we're in the middle of a spike now. Generally, you have that conversation when it's all over and you're sort of like, well, oh my God, that was unbelievable. Oh, how can we prepare? But they're talking about the spike in September. They're arguing whether there's going to be a spike or not. The scientists all say there's going to be one, but we're still in the middle of one. We're still dealing with it. I'm in Connecticut, holed up here in a farmhouse. It's like there's death and destruction all around. It's like everybody, like, let's get together. But let's not talk about September yet. Everybody's trying to plan their summers. It's like, well, summer, everything will change. It's like, I don't know how much changes. It's not going to change. We're in a weird place, everybody. It's like, and we said it last week on the podcast or on this Zoom cast. It's like our World War II or our Vietnam or our, polio pandemic or whatever. I'm not sure. This is really scary. And Lenny, you have a 2-year-old little girl. Thank God she is not going to remember this.
I know. That's the best part. Until they get a vaccine, we're not going anywhere. That's my theory.
It's like, why is Daddy not around 24/7 anymore? It's over.
I'm thankful I made it back. Kevin knows I was doing cruise ships for a while, for the last couple of years.
Jeez.
And I almost
to
took
tell
one.
about it.
I almost took one right when it was going to be locking it down, and I would have been stuck for a while. And there's still people out there. There's
Michelle Balin got stuck for like a month, right?
Yep. She was down off of like Argentina and Chile.
We were out at sea for a couple of extra days because no port would let us dock. I was in Argentina too.
Is that because of Ken with the Nazi hunting? Was that?
That's got to be why. That's a hot spot.
Argentina.
Corey's the cover.
Where did you eventually put in?
So first we get this announcement, ladies and gentlemen, we regret, but because of this virus, we have to end the cruise tomorrow. And there was 2 days left. And he's like, so tomorrow, unfortunately, we're going to disembark you in Uruguay. And Uruguay had 0 cases. May I also point out, I was on an Antarctica cruise. Our ship had only been in Antarctica, the only place on Earth with no cases. And there had been no staff changes, no crew changes. Everyone had been on the ship for 21 days already. So it was the cleanest ship you could possibly disembark. So they're going to let us off in Uruguay where there's 0 cases as well. Overnight, they got 4 cases. In Montevideo, they said, no, sorry, you can't dock. So then we were at sea for 24 hours. And finally, somebody made a deal with Buenos Aires, and they let us dock.
Hey, how many people died from old age on that one?
Lenny, my ship was that fancy schmancy. There's only 400 people on my ship.
What'd you do, Crystal Cruise Lines?
This was Seabourn.
Oh, Seabourn and Crystal are the 2 nice ones. Yeah. I did a Crystal cruise. I got on the Crystal cruise in Vietnam. Every single person, every man on the ship looked like Dick Cheney.
It was the Halliburton cruise.
Well, the hidden thing, I don't think I'm going to be working for them again, but people die on cruises well before this hit.
Oh, yeah.
It happens all the time. And they just don't tell you.
I think the average is 4. 4 people die on a cruise per 1 week cruise because they're elderly.
Yeah.
And they tend to die.
6 was the most I've ever had.
4, 6. And then the other thing is the average cruise ship passenger gains 8 pounds on a 7-day cruise.
Please tell with the ballast.
How impressive is that, huh?
Jesus.
Oh, God.
On that cheery note, Clock in the Clubhouse wall.
A lot of deaths and fat people.
I think it's time to put into port and take our chances and put on your gloves and your masks. Lenny Marcus, thank you for being here. Corey Kahaney.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for putting up with our sports talk. And Craig Murphy, first Tito impression I've ever heard, and I loved it, by the way.
Tell everybody.
Bob, come on. We got to get one Bob Kraft.
All right, before we go, just give us
it is now is really not the time. We've lost Gronkowski and Tom Brady, and the Patriots are really lost their way.
All right, Mr. Kraft, we're pulling up here the spotters down here on the right, second door in.
Just let me in and give me a highball, please, full of something blue, red, and white.
Okay, we will see.
That'll get me in trouble.
Whatever.
Awesome.
Next Thursday. Thanks all for being with us. Thank you at home.
Pleasure.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks, Bob.
Bye.
See you, everybody.